and welcome to our AMA with Beefy Finance. Nice to have you guys listening, and also nice to have you, Veso, or do I pronounce it Viso? How is it pronounced?
However you want to pronounce it's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Viso, Weso, whatever.
Yeah. So can you give a quick introduction as to yourself and the protocol so we can get it started?
Sure, I'm Weso. I lead things over at Beefy from a development perspective, strategic partnership perspective. Beefy is the multi-chain yield optimizer. So we've been around for a little over a year and a half. We're on 14 different blockchains. Phantom is actually our largest by TVL. But we have very distributed TVL. I think we have over 1.1 billion TVL across all the different 14 blockchains. We have currently over 700, I think it's 720 vaults. A lot of different
chains, right?
Yeah, that's all chains. I think on Phantom alone, it's like it's in the 150 or so.
Yeah.
But we're actually expanding our product offerings as well. I mean, we're a validator on the Phantom network, or a validator on Fuse, looking to be a validator on a couple other blockchains, and give people access to increased delegation rewards and some sort of like liquid staking. But yeah, we're currently just continually expanding across the different blockchains as they become opportunities, and then working with all the different independent projects like SpiritSwap, and building new product offerings for people to utilize.
Yeah, great. Like I am sure almost everyone dabbling in Phantom already heard of Beefy, but I just wanted to make sure, like, if there are some people who missed and quite new to DeFi, and so like people would be acquainted to you.
Yeah, no, come talk to us in the Discord, Telegram. Go to beefy.com, use the product, let us know your feedback.
Yeah, it's like the best yield optimizer there is because of like how long the runtime has been. Like one of the first ones to get this going, at least.
Well, if you're thinking about like multi-chain, we're one of the first like real multi-chain. I mean, even just protocols in general. I mean, we're probably one of the larger, just like in general multi-chain protocols, but. As like the yield optimizer perspective, there was, quite a bit of them over on Ethereum. But when BSC launched, we were one of the first protocols to launch on BSC. And so we've been around, quite a long time. A lot of the contributors have been around for a while. We have a lot of new contributors. So we can continue to grow our community and contributor base. It's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, like I am really amazed by how much like networks you cover. Like I don't think many, like you have Phantom as the biggest TVL, but there is like as you said 13 other networks, which is quite amazing to see.
Yeah, we're kind of like we're so multi-chain, right? So it feels a little bit like we don't have a home anywhere, right? So like like a lot of the Phantom projects, you're like Phantom native, and everybody like goes, okay, well, these native Phantom projects.
Yeah.
And we just consider ourselves like native to every single network we're on. So like we want to be as integrated as part of the Phantom community as much as possible. Work with all different protocols, to partner together to build really creative and fun things. Do whatever we can to make the network safer. I mean, we're just as we like continue to progress along, every single time you add another blockchain, it becomes like another layer of responsibility to become an active and native protocol within that specific network itself.
Yeah, I think it's the right philosophy to take, not like prioritizing one or the other, but taking each and every network that you decide to go on as equals.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see the success of all of them, right? And so, some will succeed and some won't, and we want to at least play our role into helping them succeed as much as possible.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to like some unique assets of your products before moving to our like partnerships, and like most people want to hear about the partnerships and future, like the binSpirit future and the future use cases. But I want to talk about the BFDM before we move on to those. Can you explain that a bit?
Yeah. So the Phantom network needs validators, right? And so
Yeah.
you can go ahead and delegate your Phantom to a validator, because the minimum requirement to run your own validator, I think, is 500,000 Phantom. So a lot of people don't have that capacity,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to participate in the validation of the network, you need to go and delegate. And when you go and delegate, you can delegate without time lock. I think it's like you earn up to like 4% interest. And then if you maximize your lock for your delegation, which is 1 year, you earn up to almost 15% interest. I think it's a little bit under that. So what Beefy did is we were able to build out BE Phantom, which is Beefy's escrowed Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
And it perpetually locks Phantom for 1 year. So it's always maximizing the delegation reward. So instead of you having to go in and, let's say, lock your Phantom and have no access to it for 1 whole year, you can just mint to Beefy BE Phantom, and now you have this liquid staking token where it's going to be able to give you the opportunity to earn that maximum delegation reward. But at the same time, if you wanted to exit that position within the year, you can go ahead and sell out of it. So it's our liquid staking version of Phantom that's really maximizing the delegation opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's a unique aspect to have users to be part of the validation protocol, because as you said, I, for example, cannot afford to be a Phantom validator, so it's like a good product to have.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, pretty much anywhere else, there are some other unique, I think, Phantom staking opportunities, right?
Yeah.
That you're going to make decent rewards, but most of them are lower, I think, percentage returns. So
single staking FTM.
Yeah, exactly. So Beefy Phantom is always going to give you a at minimum of right around 14-15% APY. And right now, since it's so distributed, we have our LP pairs on Spirit, Spooky, Beethoven, Solidly. So because there's a lot of BE Phantom in those LPs, it's actually distributing the token a little bit. So not everybody is staking to earn the Phantom. So because of that, people who are single staking BE Phantom right now are earning a higher percentage yield than than they should. So actually, I think it's closer to 20%. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty, I think, cool opportunity. It's a cool opportunity to be earning, whether you're staking in an LP pair or you're single staking. It's going to give you pretty high returns on Phantom.
Yeah, I mean, impermanent loss is one of the big major things that people are afraid of when they try to put LP pairs, but they usually put it in their wallets as single assets. But this allows a nice APR return, and also a trusted protocol giving a return of single staking, which is you can use the return later as well. So it's double dipping, and I always enjoy strategies like that.
Yeah, so right now you could single stake BE Phantom in our earnings pool, and you can earn just directly wrapped Phantom, or you can put it in a vault on Beefy, and you can earn more BE Phantom, which is going to be just basically doing the compounding for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you wanted to just earn wrapped Phantom, you just buy your BE Phantom and just earn wrapped Phantom.
Before one last point before I want to move on to Spirit stuff. Can you talk about the launch pool a bit, because I'm curious because I think Phantom's main missing point is having a good launching opportunity, and how do you decide which projects get launched into your launch pool as a new vault or a farm, for example?
Sure. So we have it's a pretty good opportunity, right? Because we're such a distributed user base. So we have 14 different blockchains worth of users. So if you think about specific to if a protocol is launching on Phantom and they want to come and do some sort of a launch pool, and it's just a Phantom native launch pool. The thing is that your user base is then, very limited to just the Phantom network itself and the popularity of whatever that protocol is that's putting the launch pool on. So what Beefy gives you the opportunity to do is, if you're a project and you want to get exposure for your project, you can come do a launch pool, which is you give us a certain amount of tokens to distribute. So we'll go ahead and boost one of the more popular vaults on Beefy. So it's giving the ability for users to, let's say, stake something and then earn like whatever your protocol token is. So it's giving a little bit of a distribution of that protocol token itself. But at the same time, like our 14 networks of users now get exposure to your specific protocol. And so we'll do, obviously like social activity. We'll do, AMAs and stuff to be, make sure that our user base is familiar with the underlying protocol. But in addition, we actually do like security reviews. So every single, and actually SpiritSwap should be very familiar with this because we did one on you guys. But we do a security check, and we have certain security points that need to be tightened up usually when we're like looking at underlying protocol code. So if you're a Launchpool partner, you come to Beefy, we do like a full contract review, look for anything that we've seen in the past as potential, exploitable exposure, any sort of like centralized control functions that may be like time locked or have like a multi-sig be part of them. So we're looking for things that we have seen from our experience and our development team's experience as in the past, things have been exploited or been utilized either maliciously by the protocol themselves, or like having like an EOA in control of like some sort of centralized control function, and then somebody gets hacked, which we've seen how many times happen already in this. So we try to like make sure that if you're going to partner with Beefy, if you're going to have vaults on Beefy, that everything's tightened up so that we don't have any sort of issues where our users are affected by the vaults that we put on. So our partnership goes much deeper than just a marketing perspective. It's also like a security, like a pseudo security audit by partnering with Beefy.
Yeah, like you guys do the audit to in quotation marks, obviously, an audit to cover your users from being exposed to certain hacks. But that also benefits the protocol that gets into your launchpad because you are doing a security check for them.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like 9 times out of 10, we find things that they need to tighten up. And it's mostly just protecting. Like we're doing things and to protect the protocol from external exposure to something that can happen. So they may not think of this as like, oh, I think that this is fine, but from the things we've seen in the past, we can like give them examples of ways that has been exploited before. So all they really need to do is just maybe like tighten something up or time lock something in order to like protect themselves. And so we'll work them through the process, even if that's like, showing them how to use a time lock contract, right? Like, so, we're trying to be as helpful as possible with our Launchpool partners, but really we're trying to help secure the whole entire space, because I think what we all know is the only way that we can continue to grow, especially like, as retail users and continue to grow the crypto environment, is if we can eliminate as many of the possible exploits as possible, so that people can feel like a sense of security and safety when they're farming.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, like the number one thing to look at in those crypto farms, like you see 10,000 APR, million APRs, but safety comes first, obviously. And you guys have proven yourselves on the numerous occasions.
Yeah, I would say to differentiate, we won't. We're not like betting on whether or not, or like having any like sort of opinion on like tokenomics or whether or not a protocol is going to succeed. More, we're just looking for specific like things in the contract code that either malicious actions can be taken by the protocol themselves, or something can happen and they have some sort of exposure, or like they lose their private key, or like something can happen and that it affects the protocol and it would affect our users. So that's what we're specifically looking for.
Okay, then let's move on to more deeper topics of recent events, as in your partnership with SpiritSwap and your release of binSpirit. Can you explain a bit as to how that happened before we move on to the use cases and the more deeper stuff?
Yeah, SpiritSwap, launched in Spirit, and it gave us a unique opportunity to come up with binSpirit. It was our first actual version of a locked and pegged token. So we've had a lot of learnings along the way. So I know, obviously our peg's not doing super well right now, but honestly, there was I don't think any of us, the WinSpirits, really saw solidly as a negative, right? We all saw it as an opportunity to continue to grow our liquidity. And so, we all provided like, okay, let's, go ahead and like jump on the train and like get like, this liquidity provided. And, there was like now like all of this money and TVL flew in, right? To basically farm Solid. The thing is that they didn't really care what they were like using to farm Solid. They just bought whatever they could at a high rate to try to farm as much Solid as possible.
Yeah.
So, then Andre leaves. Then Solidly starts to fall apart a little bit, and the mercenary farming just starts to like leave, and all of a sudden now all of those assets they were using to farm that Solid, they just started market selling. And so it like put all of the binSpirits at like, extreme exposure to price action. So like what ended up happening was you had a whole bunch of people that were buying binSpirit, not to hold it, not to use it, not to earn spirit, not to earn all of the mechanics of it. They were using it specifically to farm Solid, and then when they sold it off, there wasn't enough buy pressure to get that back to peg.
Yeah. Also, the pools were imbalanced. Like.
I mean,
you put one spirit, like 3 of the binSpirit, which caused like people immediately put after selling, like the LP pairs like started to get impermanent lost, and like the gap just increased, and like that did a pseudo bank run, like not a full bank run, but like the people who didn't understand it, who didn't know it, who like didn't even heard of Spirit, for example, had these wrapped in Spirit protocols farming Solid, and as you said, they don't know it, so like they sell it after the job is done.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was sort of a timing thing because we just sort of launched binSpirit, so it was just kind of getting built up.
Yeah.
And at the time, it like minted like twice the quantity, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened was, now you have all of these people holding and minted binSpirit, which is an irreversible mint, that didn't really want exposure to Spirit or binSpirit. So they like went and sold all of that. And so now it's, now we're in this position of, okay, the way to get back to peg is to continue to build utility so that demand for binSpirit keeps coming. And, then we can, we already shut off minting. So it's basically the demand for binSpirit will keep getting built. And then, as that keeps going, the price action of binSpirit and the peg will start to improve. And then once we're at peg, then we can think about, possibly going back to minting again. But at this point right now, it's just about improving the dynamics and the utility for binSpirit to create that demand in order to make a sustainable peg, right? Because that's what we're trying to do, is a sustainable peg, not just a flash, get back up there just to fall right back down.
Yeah, another solidly like something else launching.
We don't. Yeah, it's not about just getting there once. It's about getting there and staying there. Yeah. So that's what we've been trying to do. So we have a lot of really, I think, fun, unique things that are coming. We have moon pots, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. So you can, go ahead and deposit binSpirit on Moonpot. I think right now the price is like almost like it's over $10,000, $12,000.
Wait. Before we do that, can we circle back to what Moonpot is, if there are?
Sure. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. So actually, Moonpot originated on BSC. It's a win-win savings game. So if you're familiar with Pool Together on Ethereum, I think they're also on Polygon. It's similar in the dynamic that uses like a Beefy vault to farm yield, right? So you're depositing an asset. So let's say it's, whether it's BE Phantom or if it's binSpirit, you're depositing that into the moon pot. It underneath is depositing that into the Beefy vault. It's giving you 50% of whatever the return would be from the Beefy vault. And then the other 50% gets put into like this pot. And every 2 weeks, the draw happens, and you earn. I think there's 5 winners earn a share of that pot. So, we do those, and there's like I think we have 5 different pots going on right now on Phantom. We just launched a couple weeks ago, and in addition to obviously getting the 50% return from like the binSpirit Beefy Vault, right now you're earning extra pots on top. So actually, you're earning if not better than the vault return. The equal to the vault return, plus in addition to win, a prize every 2 weeks.
Yeah. How much does you have launched a few weeks back? Like not maybe not enough data to really comment on this, but how much price does the rewards fluctuate at?
Yeah, so I mean, we have almost 10 million TVL just in Phantom Moonpot, which is pretty good since we haven't been launched for 2 weeks yet.
Yeah.
Our binSpirit prize is like I think 12,000. So we actually added in. We partnered together with SpiritSwap and Beefy Moonpots. So all three partnered together to build up this prize for the next coming prize periods. So right now you can earn a prize. I think it's $5,000 in Spirit, $5,000 in Beefy, plus additional. I think right now it's built up to like $2,000 or $3,000 in binSpirit. We also have I think this Thursday, there's a pot for Tomb Phantom.
Oh.
That is $40,000 prize. I think it's actually like $46,000.
No.
So we have some pretty large prizes. So it'd be interesting to see, as we continue to build up and people start to learn more about Moonpots, what like really kind of fun and unique things we can do within the Phantom community. We've been trying to work with all of the native Phantom projects to do some sort of pot, some sort of unique program with them to drive obviously volume to the protocols, but also like, hey, specifically with Spirit, like, how can we help maybe the binSpirit peg by creating more demand for binSpirit that way? So, that's Moonpot.
I see like most of the binSpirits losing peg because of like Solid and the recent months they led buying into a cheap a Spirit, right? Because like I see most of the protocols adopting the wrapped in Spirit models. Like yours is like by far the most like creative and versatile use cases I've ever seen, but most of them like trying to do some sort of action and create demand to get them into peg. So it's like bonding in like Ohm forks where you get them cheap.
So right now, there's multiple things you can do with binSpirit. So right now you can use binSpirit as collateral on market.xyz. So you can borrow against your binSpirit.
Can you explain that a bit? Because like
Sure.
the binSpirit launched first and the market XYZ, like the collateral one came later. And I think people are still confused as to like people are saying, where is collateral in Spirit? Like, yeah, there is collateral in Spirit, but people are not really aware of it, I think.
Yeah, so it's actually it's even a little bit more fun. So you can deposit your binSpirit in the Beefy vault, right? And you get Moo binSpirit.
Yeah.
Which is now you're getting your Moo binSpirit is essentially interest bearing because it's going to earn that I think it's like 30-40% APY that you're getting right now from the binSpirit vault. But then you could take that interest bearing binSpirit, right? And you can put it as collateral on market.xyz. So now you can borrow against the interest bearing collateral token of binSpirit. So that means that your binSpirit quantity that you're putting up as collateral is always increasing in quantity. So it's like reducing your exposure for what you're borrowing because of the interest-bearing nature of the token.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I think right now for that specific vault, you can either borrow Mai, which is Cheetah's stablecoin, or you can borrow Spirit. So you can put up your interest-bearing binSpirit and borrow Spirit against it.
And then you can convert that Spirit into binSpirit.
Exactly. So some people are using it for like leverage looping in order to make even more rewards. So, but so that's going on at market.xyz right now. Obviously, we just talked about Moonpot. binSpirit also. So today, actually, in a few hours, I'll be doing a snapshot proposal. So if you have binSpirit that is staked on Beefy, if you have binSpirit that is in Moonpot, if you have binSpirit in your wallet, or you have binSpirit in your LP on SpiritSwap, you'll be able to vote on how Beefy is going to vote for their voting share of InSpirit.
Can you include LPs also in this snapshot?
Yep. So you just have to own binSpirit in a variety of different ways, right? So if you own it and it's sitting in the vault earning, rewards, or if it's in the Moonpot, playing in Moonpot, or if it's earning in the LP, you still have your voting rights. And so you'll be able to vote each week on different gauges to utilize 50% of Beefy's voting share. So right now, because binSpirit's, I think it was like before I came on, like 0.57 to Spirit, right? So it's a little bit like more than half.
Yeah.
It's essentially like locking and buying one binSpirit is essentially having the same voting power as locking one Spirit for 4 years. So if you were a protocol, right, and you wanted like a decent percentage of voting for your gauge, it's much cheaper to just go ahead and buy binSpirit right now.
Yeah.
Because you have this like liquid version of like voting Spirit, right? That's basically 4-year lock Spirit. So so that means now you can vote with it, you can play with it on Moonpots, you can use it as collateral, you can use it to earn, and we're still working on more use cases for binSpirit, but our goal is to have as much possible utility as we can for it. And like I said, the end goal is always to have a consistent pegging of binSpirit, not to just get up at once. We want to make sure that there's enough utility that people are going to want to continue to have demand for it. We can continue to have that peg.
Yeah. Also, like the most like looked up like aspect of InSpirit is like the bribes, right? Because like people started to lock in their spirits to get access to these bribes, which are like sometimes exceeding 100K per week to distribute it. So like I have seen on Twitter that binSpirit is like being exposed to bribe also. Can you explain that also?
So since you have like this voting capability, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see on your snapshot today, I hadn't had any protocols reach out yet that want to be included. So we'll include Spirit, Phantom, the Beefy one. So BE Phantom, Beefy Phantom, and then we'll also include my Phantom for the cheat out folks. So you'll be able to vote on those and your allocation today. So the 50% allocation of Spirit voting power. But if a partner protocol wants to include their gauge, we can include it in the snapshot. And then, I mean, they can go ahead and then submit a bribe to bribe our binSpirit holders to vote on their gauge, which to them might, depending on where the peg is and depending on, what's kind of going on with the fighting for SpiritSwap bribes, could be a cheaper option for them.
Yeah, it's a good alternative to have, I think, because like as you said, binSpirit, if it isn't on peg, it's cheaper to have it. Like if it is at the same voting power as Spirit, like it will be a massive, like I think, piece in, like as you said, the Spirit Wars, because it has basically the same voting power.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it'll be I think it'll give a lot of opportunity for protocols to utilize it to their advantage, because once they get their gauge waitlisted, if they can get it then put on the Beefy snapshot, bribing the binSpirit holders to vote for them and get a basically for every binSpirit right now you're getting equivalent to one 4-year locked Spirit. They'll have plenty of voting power to bribe against.
I can't wait for it to, like, people are like having some like choices regarding to which protocol to bribe, how much to bribe. Like I think it's a pretty good environment to be in, because like as I see like a protocol bribing us, like they bribe us the next week as well, because like the TVL just increases a lot. So like I can see that it will benefit binSpirit peg and your protocol in general to have that alternative voting power.
Yeah, I mean, bribing's fantastic. Something that we're utilizing obviously for BE Phantom, but I mean we'll probably utilize it for POTS as well, and it's just like a great mechanic, great utility for Spirit, great utility for any protocol that's giving you access to bribe.
Yeah, Spirit did it first in Phantom. Now, like there is a lot of like
bribing going on.
Yeah, interesting stuff to see.
For sure.
Yeah, like it all comes back to the original idea of bribes being like excellent way to provide liquidity and like to your protocol, and like providing the DEXs or the whatever tokens are being VE, like a big benefit. Like when it's a win-win-win situation, like people are starting to adapt to like the DeFi 2.0.
Yeah, for sure. It's a distribution of like that, bribe reward to those, voters, so the VE holders. So I don't know. I love the dynamic of it. So it's fun to see everybody's different take on it. Everybody's doing something a little bit different. But we're excited to participate in all of the lock spirit.
Yeah, it's good to see. Good to see. Like as they say, like in an ecosystem, I think like everything grows together or everything falls apart, and I see this bribing like wars across different protocols, like not just Spirit and others also, like Beethoven, for example, bringing big value to Phantom boat holders and the protocols. So I like where this is going, and you guys for like being innovative in your ways to do so.
Yeah, it's all DeFi puzzle pieces, right?
Yeah.
We're all starting to fit in together, and it's like you start to see all these different protocols working together to build something really dynamic and unique within the Phantom ecosystem.
Yeah. Also, there has to be competition for like thriving. Also, like I like the like people like protocols trying to one up each other. Like I think we will one up everyone when V2 releases, but like I don't want to talk too big. But yeah, I like where this is headed as Phantom ecosystem.
Yeah, V2 sounds really exciting. I was like looking at a lot of the updates.
Unfortunately, I can't like spill too much. Like I can't spill a little even because like I have been instructed deeply by our team members as to not say anything. Also, there is too much things to say. I might just get confused and say the wrong things, and it can bite me in the ass later. Yeah, like let's go back to Beefy Finance. Let's not steal the spotlight from your protocols. Like, what do you have in the future then? First, regarding binSpirit use cases, then regarding your project.
Yeah, so I think we just covered off on binSpirit. We just worked on getting the snapshot done this weekend. So I think we're going to now like kind of build out this voting and bribe capacity, and continue to iterate against that. So we're also going to try to, I think, maybe do like a user interface to make it like super easy to collect your bribes and get your bribes, make it easier for the protocols to bribe themselves. So so we have a lot of, I think, work to do around that. But yeah, you can look out for the snapshot today. I think I'll tweet it out. We'll probably Beefy tweet it out, and then you can go ahead and do a trial run of voting with your binSpirit, and then hopefully next week we get either some bribe capabilities, or at the very least you'll be able to then go ahead and vote for whatever gauge you see you want to vote for. So be some fun things. For Beefy, I mean, we're working on so many different things. I feel like that's what like every protocol is saying, but we'll continue. So we'll continue our expansion. Cross chain. We're working with a variety of different networks already that are looking to have us come and build over on their specific networks. So definitely have in the next, I'd say, few months, a few more, chain expansions. We're also working on, more product offerings, not just in Phantom, but like on other specific networks.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of jumping on this or some sort of like locked rewards train. So, we're looking at all of the things we've learned from our pegged or locked tokens now. So obviously BE Phantom and binSpirit. Making continue, I think, better iterations against our new product offerings in the future. So we have a few of those in the works right now. We just launched, if nobody's been on Beefy for a while, we just launched our V2 interface last Sunday. So go check us out, beefy.com.
Check out the out, guys. It's great.
Yeah. So this is something that's been in work for 9 months. We actually had a design team that we paid a lot of money to design out this framework or this vision of what this UI should be, and then we built it all out, and then it was terrible. so we then basically scrapped it, had another designer come in, make a lot of really quality improvements. We had basically a few community contributors that are coming in and helped us rebuild the whole thing from scratch. And then we've been in beta phase for the last, I'd say, 2-3 months, and continuing to iterate against it. But the new things on the V2 interface, you'll see historical APY, historical TVL, historical price. you'll be able to see like our partners, front and center. So they either get like a little badge on the home screen, or they'll have a little square on the vault page that kind of gives you a description of what the partnership includes and what we can kind of do. We have like basically a whole section writing up what the strategy is, how do we earn the yield, token descriptions, website links out to the tokens themselves. Yeah. So it's very informational. There's a lot of I think investment information. So if somebody's going to come in and wants to make invest in some sort of a product or see something that's sort of interesting, it kind of gives you all the historical perspective of APY, what the protocol does, how to go research the website. We have like a safety score that'll like give depending on what the farm, the impermanent loss of the farm, how safe the underlying contracts are, all that kind of like, what's the market cap of the protocols that are included in the LP. Then we give you like a safety score. And so then people can kind of like go by and assess based upon, how we've, ranked them on like a safety score also. So we try to give as much possible information, make investing a little bit easier, make it a little bit more retail friendly.
Yeah, transparency is really important, I think.
Yeah, still use our zap function, zap in with one asset. Just continuing to improve the interface. So I think you'll continue to see more stuff and more improvements on our interface. We're working with a lot of other projects on different partnership capacities. So I think you'll start seeing that in the next couple of weeks of some of the things that we've been working on. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot. We always have a ton of things cooking. So just stay tuned for our announcements. Like keep looking for what we got going on. But we'll keep building, keep iterating.
Yeah, great. As you see, guys, like V2 developments take months. Don't come to like our chat saying when Spirit V2. It takes months.
You want it to be good, right? Like that's the thing. You don't want to. Everybody's like win. But like when you launch it, you don't want it to be like, oh, this is what you've been working on, or it has all these bugs, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you want to launch it. And you want it to be good. You want it to be the vision that you thought it was going to be. You also that's why we ran beta for so long, was really to kind of work out any sort of bugs that people saw without it being the main app. So there was definitely a lot of stuff we learned going through that process. But yeah, don't rush V2.
Yeah. Like they aren't even letting us test it yet. Like the team is doing internal testings more before. Yeah. They are kind of afraid that I may spill some beans during the AMA, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I won't tell anybody. Nobody's listening.
Yeah, I will tell you the whole V2 after the AMA and via DMs.
Sounds good.
I think you have NFT or something launching, right? Or am I mistaken fully?
So we had I guess Beefy Avatars was a community run initiative. Yeah. It's actually like since the community members that were in charge of it actually have left and done other things, so it's just kind of sitting out there. But Moonpots itself has a Ziggyverse, which is like sort of like a game that we're developing. So right now, I think on Moonpots, you could stake pots on BSC, and you're earning like different NFTs that are part of the game. So I think there's like strength and intelligence and agility. And so each of these like different NFTs will play a role within the Ziggyverse game. So we're working right now with some game developers on getting that built out. So hopefully that'll be more to come later in the year. But yeah, and I mean, we're in the NFT space. We're actually working on building out some other, I think, financial NFT type products as well. So lots of things going on with NFTs.
Yeah. NFTs are the new craze. I feel like with bribes also, like these tradable, like BinSpirit NFTs could be a thing for us. Like there are some protocols, liquid drivers, like partnering with Revest, or was it something? I can't quite remember. Like they have the tradable NFTs that trade the staked positions, for example.
Yeah, very familiar with Revest, is all I'll say.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So like the metaverse or Ziggyverse is BSC, right?
Yeah, for right now it's BSC, but we're looking at the opportunity of possibly expanding it over here into Phantom, and possibly using Phantom as a launch base for like the actual game itself.
Yeah. I think Phantom really needs a game if NFT metaverse stuff, like as a mishmash of like entertaining NFT gameplay. Like they're trying to, like, people are starting to release some NFTs regarding this, I think. But yeah, I'd be really excited to see what Beefy has in terms of it.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I think it'll come. Actually, I think the new Phantom Foundation like reward structure is actually like specifically looking for some sort of like metaverse type NFT game.
Yeah, I agree. Metaverse is like really important, and like I think each network will have its own sort of metaverse flagship project at some point, like sooner or later.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's going to come to Phantom. There'll be something that'll come and be built on Phantom that'll be the like go-to like metaverse game for sure.
Yeah, I hope it does. It won't be a like derivative of like something else. Just slap it onto Phantom and try to get profits of it.
Unfortunately,
that's
it does seem like that's the direction that a lot go, but I think that there's a whole lot of unique opportunities that are still available to be built out.
The developers here are really smart. I think they can whip something up that can please everyone. Not everyone, but most of the people. Do you have like something to add? Like, did I miss something? Like, I am scouring through the community questions as we are like talking.
No, I mean, we can take community questions if you want to do that.
Yeah, we can do that. Like, does anyone have a question regarding our AMA? Like, I am seeing the other questions about the protocol. But yeah, like we can like do a quick shotgun question answer of the community.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm game for whatever.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions. Like I haven't been done like incentivized rewards for questions like for the last 4 or 5 AMAs, I think. But there's a lot more questions compared to no rewards.
Just got a lot of curious people. So do you want? Are people gonna ask in like the text, or do you want to like ask people?
Yeah, I don't wanna like really add people because like everyone will raise their hands and it can be like unfair to some people who I omit, like because of time constriction and other constrictions.
Sure. So you just want me to like? Do you want to ask or pick some questions out and I can answer them, or do you want me to just pick some out of the AMA?
You can like if you want to like answer specific questions, you can look them up, or I can. It's totally up to you.
Okay. Let's see. British Rose. If Smooth Beefy locked in Boost Vault, still have a shirt. Yeah, they still have voting power. Please correct me if I'm wrong. When TVL of a specific pool grows, the bigger the reward stakers will get, even if the data. I mean,
I can ask probably because like there is a lot of questions. I don't want to take like I don't want you to read too many questions.
Yeah. I mean, when the TVL of a pool grows, right? Usually rewards are fixed. So like like Spirit will have like a certain amount of emissions per like let's say pool. And so as the TVL grows, then those are distributed against more TVL. So generally your rewards shrink a little bit. If that's a question.
Yeah. Probably that is too, because I understood the same.
So you can just stake. You can either zap in with Spirit on Moonpot for binSpirit, or you can have your minted binSpirit and just go ahead and deposit it on Moonpot. It's pretty easy. Just go to moonpot.com.
For example, I see some question about tokenomics of Beefy. Did it end emissions? When will it end? And like, what happens after it ends?
Yeah, so Beefy's only 80,000 that will ever exist. So it's fully minted. There's 2,000 left inside a team vesting contract that comes due to release in July. After that, then all of the Beefy tokens are fully distributed. We actually don't even, all of the Beefy that we have in our treasury has been earned via our fee structure. So we actually don't even have like an allocation of like, let's say just Beefy sitting on the side that was like pre-minted to us. Like there's none of that. And even so, like, we actually, the founders of Beefy have left the protocol. So like myself included, I was a contributor. I started in February 2021. Almost all of us that are contributors at Beefy are just contributors. So we actually get a reoccurring contributor salary. So none of us have team share. So nobody that's running Beefy right now has any sort of like team share. So we're all doing it as because we want to see the growth of Beefy. We believe in the product that we're building. But also now we get this like recurring contributor salary. So we're operating more and more like an organization, a true like, DAO.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so it's definitely interesting. But yeah, there's only 80,000. We can't even, the minter's been burned. So there's no more Beefy that will ever exist across all of different 14 blockchains right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that the team, like in quotation marks, dissolved and like the community, your community, I think, like contributor, stepped up and like did what had to be done and took over in a way.
It was sort of like a transition period, right? So I think the goal always was for it to be completely DAO run, but now you have a contributor base that was just a bunch of believers of people that invested in Beefy or that have been, wanting to jump onto a protocol and became very invested in the community. So now we've all kind of caught on and just continue to contribute. And so we're definitely, I think, one of the only protocols I think that just doesn't have like any sort of like founder sitting there trying to lead everything. The DAO is leading Beefy, and the contributors that have joined Beefy are leading Beefy.
Yeah, like as you know, Spirit is almost fully DAO right now as well. That being said, community, if you have in Spirit and you see, first of all, well, for the gauges, because that will give you access to bribes. If you have locked in Spirit, like I see many, like the in Spirit versus the voting percentage, like that shouldn't be that low. People have probably don't know or just they forgot about it. But also, like if you see a snapshot, vote on it. Like even every vote matters to reach quorum or to like sway a vote into a direction. Because in order to be fully DAO, we need the community to participate. That's the number one thing. So please, guys, if you see anything, vote on it.
Yeah, we can actually talk like a whole another like hour about DAOs, right?
Yeah.
How should a DAO be run? Like, what should you possibly vote on? How do you get like not caught up in the whole politics of being of a DAO?
Yeah.
Like, you vote on every single thing, right? So it's trying to find like the right, I think, balance of letting your core team that you guys kind of elected to run the protocol make decisions and make the protocol agile, but at the same time, making sure that your decision-making process, your everything that you have sort of like control over is decentralized. We have like a treasury council that's in charge of like our whole treasury. So it's multiple people, not just, one person, or even the core team. It's separate from the core team. We have our core team that makes like a lot of our decisions. We have partnership people who are in charge of partnerships. So we try to decentralize as much as possible, not put it like all the centralized ownership on like one piece of the protocol.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Also, as you said, there has to be a balance because I, for myself, don't know anything about treasury management. For example, like if you give me access to Beefy Finance Treasury, I will just drain it to my wallet, for example, because that's the best outcome that I can see. So it's good to have certain people who are good at their jobs and also the community watching over them.
Yeah, I mean, with the core teams, I think everybody's kind of we actually went through a whole an approval process for getting the core teams put on to the core team, so the members of the community. So at that point, it's okay, well, now we trust these people are going to do the things in best interest of Beefy in order to continue to progress the protocol along. But yeah, it's definitely, I think all DAOs are still very, very young. right? Like we're all started like learning how to be a DAO, how to participate, how to make the decision making as decentralized as possible. But yeah, I mean, like you have to find balance. I did see somebody had a question about Beefy Maxi.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that about that. Yeah.
So Beefy takes 4.5% harvest fees. So like when you deposit your LP in Beefy, we do the auto compounding, but for like those harvest rewards, the yield rewards, it's like 4.5% fees our service, which is some of the lower, but it matches, I think, some of the other yield optimizers on this network as well. But so of that, 3% of it goes towards our earnings and gets distributed to the Beefy stakers. So anybody who owns Beefy can stake it into our Beefy's earnings pool, and you actually earn Phantom. So our earnings are distributed in Phantom. Now, if you deposit in Beefy Maxi, what it really does is it takes that Beefy and deposits it into our earnings pool, but then sells the Phantom for more Beefy. So it's generating now like this buying mechanism. So if you deposit in Beefy Maxi, we're just rebuying Beefy off the market and then giving it to our stakers. So different than other protocols who have like a pool where they're basically giving you emissions as part of like the staking. All of the Beefy you get from Beefy Maxi is bought off the market from our protocol earnings and delivered to the Beefy stakers.
Yeah. Interesting protocol. Like I haven't touched up on it much, this AMA, for example, because like I didn't know much about it. I just heard the name and I didn't want to touch on anything I didn't know. But yeah, good reminder. It slipped my mind. Yeah. So like let's start to wrap this up. I will look over the community questions and maybe tell you like which one of those I saw the best. I tried to integrate most of them to my questions in like a paraphrasing sort of way.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add before we wrap this up?
No. Do you plan to include any non-EVM? We plan to be everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. They're everywhere.
There you go.
Everywhere. Yeah. Like I wanted to ask about the network, but I said, nah, never mind, because they will be probably in there at some point sooner or later.
We will be everywhere. That's my answer. We'll be there eventually. Do Beefy and Moonpot have a common team background? So there's two separate teams. So Moonpots was started by another used to be a community contributor at Beefy, but had like left to just do Moonpot. And some of the developers and some of the other people that were working on other things within Beefy left to help out on Moonpot. But Moonpot has some people that are unique to just specific Moonpot, and then it has some developers. I work on Moonpot. Frandato works on Moonpot. So we have a few people that are, Beefy and Moonpot people, but they're two different protocols, two different tokens, two different DAOs. Just some similarities with the team background, and Beefy's a large supporter of Moonpot.
Yeah, thank you for coming, man. Really enjoyed talking to you.
No problem. That was great. Love SpiritSwap. Can't wait to do more things with binSpirit. Can't wait to work more on more products in the future, and love being part of the community.
One of the better, the most trusted binSpirit protocol out there, like in terms of use cases, I might say.
It'll get there. We're working on it.
When will you reach to 10 use cases? Like,
that's right.
You are rapidly advancing.
Goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll continue to keep building it. There'll be more and more utility coming, but have patience. It was obviously we were overcome by, like I said in the beginning, some of the stuff with Solidly, but we're working to improve, and we'll continue to do our best to not only just make it one of the stronger WinSpirits and like utility, but having a very strong peg in the future.
Yeah, hopefully. Hope you. Yeah. Thank you, man. I'm wrapping this up.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Hope to see you again. See ya.
Yeah, sounds great. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye.